So continuing on, family, here in section 1604 it says, subject to existing international agreements to which the United States is a party at the time of enactment of this act, a foreign state shall be immune from the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States and of the states, except as provided in sections 1605 to 1607 of this chapter. So let's go there. Let's go to 1605. Right? So section 1605, it says this is the rule for anybody who wants to say, I'm of the nation of Israel, I'm representing the nation of Israel, we ambassadors for Christ, we represent the Lord, okay? We not party or nation, we are holy nation, we not supposed to be joined onto these nations, okay? Well then, these are the rules then, that even they acknowledge how you supposed to roll as an ambassador representing your nation, not being part of the nation in the territory that is has claiming the same territory that you on. So it says a foreign state shall not be immune from the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States or of the states in any case in which the foreign state has waived its immunity, either explicitly or by implication. Okay, notwithstanding any withdrawal of the waiver which the foreign state may purport to effect, except in accordance with the terms of the waiver. Now, look, number 2, in which the action is based upon a commercial activity. You see? So I'm gonna read A again and go right to 2. It says a foreign state shall not be immune from the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States or of the states in any case, 2, in which the action is based upon a commercial activity carried on in the United States by the foreign state. What's commercial activity again? It says up here, a regular course of commercial conduct or a particular commercial transaction or act. The commercial character of an activity shall be determined by reference to the nature of the course of conduct or particular transaction or act, rather than by reference to its purpose. You see, so it's clear. You are a commercial transaction. I mean, listen. Listen, man. If you want to use some cash, okay, to get something, you could get one of those debit cards that don't need no don't need no social security number. You know, don't need no personal information or no bank account. The debit card itself is one of those private bank accounts. They got a couple of them out there. And I'm not into advertising that stuff. You go look for it. So anyway, I ain't doing no commerce here. Nothing here is being done for any profit or to promote any thing for profit. So anyway, yeah. So number 2, okay, you lose your immunity. You lose your immunity from the jurisdiction of the courts on a federal level and on a state level in any case where the case is based on, where the action in the court is going to be based on a commercial activity, okay, carried on in the United States, meaning on the soil of North America by the foreign state. See, so if you're a church and you doing commercial activity, you're not no real church. If you are a member of a church and you're doing commercial activity, you're not no real church. You're not no real church. You're not. And that's why you guys don't have no rights and the government don't respect you. When they deal with you, you have to meet the obligations that they prescribe. Or upon any act performed in the United States in connection with a commercial activity of the foreign state elsewhere. You see that? Or upon an act outside of the territory of the United States in connection with a commercial activity of the foreign state elsewhere. And that act causes a direct effect in the United States. You see? So if you do some commercial transaction outside of North America, and that commercial transaction has a sort of effect in the United States, where it could be effect on the negative side, positive side, you know, uh, you subject, because now you are doing things that is governed by their laws. That you doing something basically that they wrote laws on how to control. They wrote rules for. If you're doing something that they wrote rules for, okay, then you know you under their jurisdiction. You have to follow those rules, which brings you under their jurisdiction, basically. Okay, I hope I explained that well right there. You could just rewind a little bit if you want to hear me say it again. I want to repeat it again. Number 3, in which rights in property taken in violation of intentional law are an issue. Sounds a little familiar. Let me read that again. Okay. In which rights in property taken in violation of international law, oh well, okay, that's not talking about what we do, are an issue, and that property or any property exchanged for such property is present in the United States in connection with a commercial activity carried on in the United States by the foreign state. You see, so we're not dealing in money. Okay, not dealing in money. Okay, so that, you see, because that's what they're showing you when you dealing in money with transactions and stuff that is associated with taxes and stuff, being sales tax attached to it and stuff, and this that attached to it, especially on the books in association with a social security number, a debit card, or something with that right there, to show that you done contracted and made a commercial contract to pay an application fee or processing fee or whatever with social security people, DMV people, whatever, in order for you to have some status and able to have a bank account to get a debit card or a credit card. You entered into commerce. So you're a criminal. Because you're holding a social security card that's a license to work, authorization to work. You're a criminal. That's how the system looks at you, as a criminal. You see? That's why I, as well as many others, had to get rid of that stuff. Okay? If we truly want to walk with Christ, representing his kingdom, being a part of his nation, and being an official representative of that. Okay? So, reading on. In which rights in property, I'm at number 4, in which rights in property in the United States acquired by succession or gift, or rights in immovable property situated in the United States are an issue. Okay, so 5, not otherwise encompassed in paragraph 2 above, in which money damages are sought against a foreign state for personal injury or death or damage to or loss of property occurring in the United States and caused by the tortious act or omission of that foreign state or of any official or employee of that foreign state while acting within the scope of his office or employment. You see. So basically, if you're conducting your ministry and you are teaching that there's a claim of right to property in the possession of a dead person, which is a corporation or company, okay, a legal entity created by the state upon application and registration, governed by the state and brought into existence by the state. But then that is not necessarily applicable here. Doesn't fit to be applicable here. Okay, because you're dealing with you're not dealing with a tortious act. Okay, and though there may be considered a loss of a property, is it really a loss of the property? Because in whose possession is the property really, and whose jurisdiction is the property located in really? You see, these are all things that we have to meditate on to come to a certain realization to know how you are going to respond in the spirit of truth as it is written. Now, reading on, any claim based, this is A, any claim based upon the exercise or performance or the failure to exercise or perform a discretionary function, regardless of whether the discretion be abused, or any claim arising out of malicious prosecution, abuse of process, libel, slander, misrepresentation, deceit, or interference with contract rights, or in which the action is brought either to enforce an agreement made by the foreign state with or for the benefit of a private party to submit to arbitration, all or any differences which have arisen or which may arise between the parties with respect to a defined legal relationship, whether contractual or not, concerning a subject matter capable of settlement by arbitration under the laws of the United States, or to confirm an award made pursuant to such an agreement to arbitrate, if the arbitration takes place or is intended to take place in the United States. The agreement or award is or may be governed by a treaty or other international agreement in force for the United States, calling for the recognition and enforcement of arbitral awards. The underlying claim, save for the agreement to arbitrate, could have been brought in a United States court under this section or section 1607 or D, paragraph 1 of this subsection is otherwise applicable. Now, okay, so that's basically saying if you get into a contract with someone, you understand, and in the contract it has some provisions within the contract for arbitration to take place within the United States. You know what I'm saying? Or the agreement and the award is something of a something that is governed by something dealing with the United States government. You're under the jurisdiction. You lose your immunity. You're now subject to proceedings in federal and state courts. Now, it says here, very important, a foreign state shall not be immune from the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States in any case in which a suit in admiralty is brought to enforce a maritime lien against a vessel or cargo of the foreign state, which maritime lien is based upon a commercial activity of the foreign state. You see, and they give providers, meaning upon the condition that notice of the suit is given by delivery of a copy of the summons or the complaint to the person or his agent having possession of the vessel or cargo against which the maritime lien is asserted. And if the vessel or cargo is asserted pursuant to process obtained on behalf of the party bringing the suit, the service or process of arrest shall be deemed to constitute valid delivery of such notice. But the party bringing the suit shall be liable for any damages sustained by the foreign state as a result of the arrest if the party bringing the suit had actual or constructive knowledge of the vessel or cargo of a foreign state was involved. Now, so you guys can, go over this stuff, but I'm just really hitting on the main points, okay, for you to understand that when you want to be in the money world, All right. Listen, the courts or the federal level and the state level in the United States and North America, they have jurisdiction over that. Okay. They are the rulers over commercial activity. Those are two sole purpose of its existence: to protect and maintain individual rights and regulate commercial activity, meaning control commercial activity. That's all the purpose of the United States government and the government of the states. So, you find here in Title 28, the rules, okay, recognized internationally within the jurisdiction of the United States, or how they deal with sovereigns and how they are supposed to deal with the Israelites, okay, who are members of the true church, or the church, because there's only one church. I mean, you can have a lot of communities and congregations doing different things, but the church of God, the community of God, the people of God, the nation of God, yeah, is a nation, a separate nation. Okay. So this is 28 USC. So you guys make a note of that. You understand? Give you the breakdown on how jurisdiction work, was the rules, and you'll see it just ties right into the things that I'm bringing out on the Bakwashar channel as far as, dealing with the money. You working for money, you're not dealing with the Most High or the will of the Most High. You sell your labor here, there, like you see Paul was doing. He was a tent maker. You do something for somebody, you provide services or something, you're, boom. But if you're not doing it just to exchange with a person something of value, and you just doing it for this thing that they call money, which when the government even tells you it has no value. There's no exchange of value in commerce today. There's no exchange of value. That's why it's criminal. Doesn't the Bible, doesn't the scriptures speak about an unjust balance? Unfair, uneven balance and weight is an abomination. It's not a fair trade. It's not a fair trade. It's not an equal value of exchange. What facts do you rely on? Okay, and please leave a comment to this question if you can answer it. Okay, in opposition to the point. What facts do you rely on to prove that the currency that you receive for what you do has value, other than somebody else will accept it? Do you have any facts to prove that the currency that you receive for the work you do has any intrinsic value in and of itself? Please leave a comment below with with an answer to that question. Okay? I would really like to know. Because if you have knowledge and understanding, you'll know there is no money in the world today in circulation, in general circulation, like how there used to be money decades ago and years ago in the ancient times. There's no money today going around. If you're literate, if you can read and understand the meaning of words that you read, let's just say the signs, okay, on the, because there's no words on your currency. There's another thing I want to just quickly bring out right here. If you literate and you know what an English word look like, you know that there's no words on your currency. Your currency doesn't say what you think it say. All capital letter writing is not English words. Literate people know that. Okay? That's called American Sign Language. Literate people know that. So you don't have a dollar bill that says $1 on it. You don't have a $5 bill that says $5 on it or United States of America, Federal Reserve Bank on it. Those are signs and symbols. And if you was to translate that into English, it will make no sense because none of that stuff is hyphenated. If you understand the rules of all capital letter text, it's supposed to be hyphenated in order to be translated into English and make sense. Okay? Which would mean what? You translate it into English and you would have space between the words. No hyphens means you translate it into English, you have a full stop after every word, which is not a sentence and absolute nonsense. You want to research that? Chicago Manual of Styles, Chapter 11, Section 144 and 147. Okay. So we're going on. Is just dealing with commercial activity, man. Here. I keep telling you, in connection with a commercial activity. Okay. And if it's causing an effect in the United States and in the states of the United States, you don't have any immunity or sovereignty. You see? So what is sovereignty? How do you define sovereignty? Based on how we understand what we have read and gone over in this lesson. Sovereignty is immunity from the jurisdiction of the courts of a foreign government. If you're not part of that government, then you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the courts of that government as long as you are not engaged in a commercial activity or have done a regular course of normal commercial transaction that would have an effect, okay, or proof that have some effect, no matter if it's a little effect or whatever, but it has a damn effect, okay, on the economy. You're finished. You have no protection from the Lord because the Lord said, look, these is his ministers. This is his ministers. So the word that they prescribe in their laws, they make sure that they don't violate the church, that they have not written anything concerning the church. Anything that they write in their laws is for the protection of the church. But at the same time, it's put out there in the public for public knowledge, and those who are interested in the church, in leaving the nations and governments of the world, coming out of Babylon and joining the church, coming into the government of Christ, coming into the nation of Israel, the Commonwealth. Well, they know. I can't be holding no state ID card no more. I can't be holding no social security card no more. I can't be holding no Medicaid card no more. I can't be caught up in no commercial transaction or activity anymore with the United States. So what that mean? That mean you gonna have to be doing what Basadar told you the Lord said you shouldn't be doing. You can't serve God and Mammon at the same time. I think is it about time to finish the video now on that point? I think it's about time to finish the video now. I think the point has been made. All right? I think the point has been made. But let me just go over this one more time for the people out there in the world among the nations who may still maintain an interest in serving the Heavenly Father in Christ and joining God's kingdom on this earth. And we seeking the increase of this government, the expansion of this kingdom, to the pulling down of the strongholds that have robbed humanity of the gifts and the blessings of God. Okay, and you are surely welcome. Okay, you are welcome, and the Lord will designate your place in this kingdom according to your talents that you have attained, the blessings of the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding the Most High gave you. This is the law governing the United States of America and the states are also subject to the jurisdiction of this law. It says, whereas the Bible, the Word of God, has made a unique contribution in shaping the United States as a distinctive and blessed nation and people. Whereas deeply held religious convictions springing from the Holy Scriptures led to the early settlement of our nation. Whereas biblical teachings inspired concepts of civil government that are contained in our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. So let me say something right there before I continue. Yeah, so in the Declaration of Independence, it mentions that what? That all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that governments are instituted among men to protect these rights. You see, the right of life, liberty, okay, is among these rights. They ain't gonna tell you what all of them are. But when I go in these stores and stuff, you see in these videos and stuff, I'm telling you what one of them are. And that's the main one, okay, because that's playing into stealing your birthright, stealing your dominion, stealing your inheritance, and you believing in something that doesn't exist, which we never dealt with as a people before we went into captivity to these nations. Money. Selah, my beloved. Selah. Continuing. Whereas many of our great national leaders, among them Presidents Washington, Jackson, Lincoln, and Wilson, paid tribute to the surpassing influence of the Bible in our country's development. As in the words of President Jackson, that the Bible is the rock on which our republic rests. Whereas the history of our nation clearly illustrates the value of voluntarily applying the teachings of the scriptures in the lives of individuals, families, and societies. Whereas this nation now faces great challenges. Damn right. All this perversion done explode all over the place. And that will test this nation as it has never been tested before. And whereas that renewing our knowledge of and faith in God through Holy Scripture can strengthen us as a nation and a people. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that the President is authorized and requested to designate 1983 as a national year of the Bible, in recognition of both the formative influence the Bible has been for our nation and our national need to study and apply the teachings of the Holy Scriptures. And that's the sweetest part of it that I use with merchants, vendors, and most of them, when I approach them, it's not about I'm trying to go there to get anything. I'm just trying to teach the word. And most of the time I'm running tests, because there's a lot of places I could go to just get what I need to eat, different various things to eat that I could just get to eat. So I don't really stress, thinking, I want something to eat. I got to go here, talk to, no, listen, nah. It's about teaching the word. And as you teaching the word, sometimes a lot of the people, they just offer you something when you're not even in the mood to eat anything or have anything like that. You just talking, teaching to somebody, trying to give them an understanding of what it is they involved with, what, to see the bigger picture of what it is they're doing. That's all it is. Well, let me finish off right here. So it says, is the national need to study the teachings of the Holy Scriptures, and it was approved. So this is the law that governs everyone that is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. We have to understand that, my family. Whether you are atheist, too bad. The atheists try to sue Ronald Reagan in the Supreme Court, and it didn't work. They didn't win. So the law still stands. Because listen, the truth is the truth. The people came over here from wherever they came from across the ocean, and they were religious people. They were influenced. They were under Christian influence. They came here under the Christian influence and introduced and tried to influence the native peoples, our ancestors that's here. So that's why they say it was an influence and played a major part, formative role in the foundation of their nation. So you could say the Holy Scriptures is one of the pillars of the foundation of the United States government and government of the states. When you read the preamble of the governments of the states, because I know a lot of you so-called brothers and sisters that work with these governments, okay, those of you in the world, because you can't be working, for the books, there in the government, and then you saying you part of the church. No, you with that nation or you with this nation? Which one? Make up your mind. They're what you call that's what you call a quasi Christian. Okay. Just a Christian. You just a Christian in word. You're not a Christian in deed. You're not a follower of Christ. When I say Christian, my brothers and sisters, I just mean follower of Christ. Okay, so excuse me, I don't mean to offend anyone when I'm saying that word. But just, understand my intention of what I mean by that is just, I mean follower of Christ. So, disciples of Christ. You can't be. You can't be. Because Christ does not deal with working for money and doing regular commercial transactions. He trying to restore, he's not trying, he bring the restoration to the nation of Israel. Back to how they operated traditionally as a people, customarily. Without money, like I brought out before in this compact Bible dictionary by Zondervan. Okay, so all the evidence is there. I hope you brothers and sisters enjoyed the video. And you were educated, you were edified. Don't take this and just run with it. Do your due diligence, do your research, read up on it, study. And I like to verify this stuff with, government. I'll call them on the phone. I say, I'll call the FBI on the phone and ask them about this stuff. That's the way I do stuff, You don't want to get no verification from your mans and them, from them brothers over there, or from that sister. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Nah. Get the verification. If you looking and seeking verification, get the verification from the people themselves, from Caesar. Okay. Their representatives, their agents, and all that. You can get it from there.